Boys podcast, and we are in the building with a very, very, very special guest. I got my sister. She is a nurse extraordinaire, healthcare provider. She has some other interests that she want to do out here in this world today too. So we gonna get to all that right now. I want to introduce y'all to my man and a dope ass black woman, I might add. Miss Skipper Toussaint is in the building. Skipper, what's happening?
Hi, Kev. Hi, Kev. Thanks for the accolades.
Hey, I'm gonna give you a chance to get your own accolades out here. We're gonna give you your flowers while you still living and you can smell them.
Okay.
That's what we here to do. That's what we here to do. So you look good, you feel good. Now we're gonna get to hear about Skipper in Skipper's own words. Is that all right with you today?
That's fine with me. And sorry for holding you up. I want everybody to know it was me that was late.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. Look, you get your pass around here because you got such an intriguing and interesting story and some things to talk about. So we gonna get right to it. You know, I want to ask you. The first question I want to ask you is like, what drew you to nursing and healthcare? What made you want to get into that field?
You know what? I didn't know I wanted to get into that field. Honestly, I fell in it kind of by accident.
Wow.
You know, I was in DC, living in DC, and I was working in a group home.
Okay.
And I was working there, and some of my coworkers said that they were going down to this place to take this test to try and get into LVN school, because I'm not an RN. I'm a licensed practical nurse or a licensed vocational nurse, depending upon the area of the United States that you live in.
Gotcha.
And they kind of pressured me to go on down with them. So I went, and turned out I was the only one past the tests. And then,
Wow. Wait. Let me interrupt you right quick. So
yeah.
Y'all basically go down there, you know, like, hey, let's go check this out. You know, so like y'all finna get some chicken or something. But let me go check this out. And y'all go down there, everybody take the test. You the only one passed the test. And all these years later, you the nurse.
You know what? And unfortunately, I didn't keep up with the peeps. So I don't know, if they went into nursing later. But the thing about this was, it was at a school called Morgan Murray Washington in Washington, D.C. And this program was funded by the late great Marion Barry.
Okay.
So it was totally free to go.
Wow.
He had so many free adult vocational programs available to the people of Washington, D.C. And I just happened to be one of the lucky recipients. So R.I.P. Marion.
Yeah, Marion Barry. After the Coke, he actually came through and made sure somebody got some good stuff out there in D.C. So that is what's up. That is a crazy story. People would always think that you're a nurse, you went to school, you worked hard, you paid a bunch of money, you got to get this money so you can pay these loans back, stuff like that. You got your nursing certificate or degree for free. You became a nurse for free, but now you get paid very well. You get paid now. You get paid very well from what I heard, but we're going to get into that too. So you're not just a nurse. What is your actual title and what does that entail? What do you do with this title that you have? I want to know what this is. Oh, we got to take a drink for it. Okay, let's do it.
Well, my current title is Regional Infection Prevention Resource for a very awesome healthcare company called Cambridge Healthcare Services.
Okay.
We manage 36 buildings. Well, actually now 35 buildings across California. So that is my current title.
Wow. So you travel from place to place.
I specialize in infection prevention. That's my specialty, and also staff development.
Wow. So how do people feel when they see you coming down the hall? Like, is my boss coming down the hall? I better get my stuff together. Is that like, do you strike fear in some of these nurses or places that you go into?
Do I look scared?
No.
No, I don't strike fear in anybody's, I don't think, they might do a double check to make sure everything's straight when I come, but I don't think I strike fear in anyone.
Because Like we all got the moves when our boss coming or something like that. We want to make sure we're doing it right, we're looking good, and we also want to have a great boss. We don't want nobody micromanaging. But I believe, like, bosses are what you make them as employees. You know what I'm saying? So if you're doing your job, you're doing it well. All I got to do is come check on you, make sure you're on point, and I can leave you the heck alone. I don't got to keep going through all unnecessary rigmarole that we got to go through. So 35 hospitals, you said, across
they're skilled nursing facilities, not hospitals, skilled nursing facilities.
Skilled nursing facilities. Okay. So what exactly is a skilled nursing facility? Everybody might not know.
All right. Well, skilled nursing facility is a facility where people can go. They can get rehab, maybe after surgery, knee surgery, or something like that. And they need physical therapy. Maybe they have wounds. They need dressing changes. Or we also have people who live in our facilities. It's mostly the population, but I'm going to tell you the truth these days, Kev. The population's getting younger and younger, so it's really for anybody who needs that type of assistance. We provide both short-term and long-term. So, and for people who are also ventilator dependent, can't breathe on their own.
Wow. Okay. So you pretty much cover the gamut, because like you said, like unhealthy or sick people getting younger and younger as our generations get to go. Our parents and grandparents lived a long time, and it seemed like the morbidity rate is getting shorter and shorter, right? As far as lifespans go for people, especially people of color and people in the African American and brown communities and stuff like that. But we'll talk about that later as well too. I got some thoughts on that. But you're an award-winning healthcare provider. give me a little story about that. I saw some pictures. I saw some awards. What kind of award did you win, and what's going on with that? I need to know about that. Give me some tea. Spill some tea.
Well, thank you, Kev. I did win an award inside of my company. It's called the Aspire Award, and this award is special because one person wins it a year, but you are voted by your peers. To be the Aspire winner. So yes, I won this year's 2022 Aspire Award, as voted by my peers. So that's what makes it special. And I won that. It's nice to be, recognized. But the other important thing is I like what I do. So
that's a beautiful thing when you love what you do. And I noticed that you have the award, and I noticed that you and the award are matching. Both of y'all got on blue.
Yeah. I tried to make sure you see this one right here. It's matching my, and I got the clear.
She really broke it out to let y'all know. So you break that out. I know it's a show out, and I know it's like you should be proud. I'm proud of you. Congratulations. That's a big deal when your peers feel that you are one of the best people that's doing what you do in the industry. You know what I mean? So nobody has ever given me an award, but I haven't gotten an award by my peers. So I don't know what the hell y'all doing out there. I need to find out why I ain't got an award for just being a great friend and individual, but we're going to get to that too.
I'm going to bring you an award the next time I see you, because you're a great brother-in-law. So
hey, that's what I'm talking about. See?
Yeah.
That's how you get love. That's how you get points. That's how you get on the show. So all y'all that want to be on the show, be calling me and hitting me up, texting me, messaging me all on social media. If you can't get no award from me and give me no love like that, I don't want to see you on here. You know what I'm saying? But another thing I've got, though, so like coming from a African American Black community of South Side of Chicago and Inglewood, I think coming from places that we come from, like San Diego, LA, New York, all these underprivileged and underserved communities, we all hear horror stories about people going to the doctor and they providers and stuff like that. Especially, like I say, Black people in underserved communities, they don't get what they're supposed to get as far as healthcare goes. So we've heard horror stories. And I want to know, do you feel like that there is racism when it comes to, those people that are underserved in the healthcare system? Because like I hear these things, I see these things, I read these stories. Do you feel like racism plays a part in underserved communities when it comes to healthcare?
Kevin, there's systemic racism, and there's no getting around that. Right?
Absolutely.
There's, how systems have been put in place. it has been studied and proven that medical doctors at one time were taught that African Americans couldn't feel pain like other people. We are extraordinary, and when it comes to those things, and we're not. But so I'm not going to say that that doesn't exist, because systemic racism is a fact. But what I will say is that any organization that I've worked with, and don't forget, I worked at Howard University Hospital. That was my first employment after I finised out there in DC.
Shout out Howard.
I worked there for I know, shout out Howard, 5 West Neurosurgery. So I worked out there, and I've lived in North Carolina. I've lived in Virginia. My son was born at the University of Virginia. I lived in Charlottesville, where that protest and everything took place.
Definitely.
So I've seen some disparities. I'm not going to say I haven't. And word on the street, when I did work in Washington, D.C., and at a time when the Bushes were in the hospital, went to a hospital over there, I did hear through very credible sources that only Caucasians were allowed to take care of them. So I'm going to say, but in any organization that I've worked with, and I've only fortunately met good people. I've never witnessed anybody being biased or not receiving the care that they needed simply because race. So
true. Yes, I mean, like, we can't ignore the things that already existed previously before you became a nurse. I mean, growing up in situations in the cities and places like that, we've experienced stuff firsthand. We've seen things. We got family members, friends that go through all kind of things. And when you mention the Bushes, that's crazy. Kind of segue me into my next question. You know what I mean? Like, I did my research. Like, I want to make sure I'm on point. I want to make sure the numbers match, because I don't want to offend anybody or make anybody feel some type of way. But I want to give kudos to the Black nurses. I want to give kudos, I'm like all the nurses, actually, because like what they do, doctors, whatever, what you do is like, sometimes it goes unnoticed. Because like, you go in the trenches. I know a lot of people say they going in the trenches. We in the streets and we in the trenches, but the trenches is really being in there when somebody's really got like life-threatening, diseases, illnesses, sicknesses, and all that kind of stuff. And it runs rampant in our community because of how we take care of ourselves, and like food deserts. It's a whole lot of stuff that combines and make us unhealthy for generation after generation after generation. But 66% of the nurses in America happen to be Caucasian, 11% African American, 9%, I think, Asian and other ethnicities. But what do you feel about that? Being able to navigate in a field that is totally dominated by people that don't look like you. How does that feel, getting up every day, going to work, doing what you got to do? Like, how do you deal with that?
Well, you know what, Kev? That's an excellent question. And I'm speaking again from my experience. So like I told you, I live back east and here in the West. So gotcha. I don't find that to be accurate. Maybe in the Midwest, where, an abundance of Caucasians live, maybe across the whole nation, right? It probably very well is accurate. I will say there are not enough straight up, African American nurses, whether it's male or female.
Okay.
But to my experience, when I worked back east, it was a mix, and we had some African nurses, African, Nigerian, Somalian, my folks. Then when I came to San Diego, we have majority Pan American nurses, Filipino.
Okay.
And those are my folks.
Gotcha.
So for whatever reason, it was, in the East, Africans who I work with, who me to gain different skills that I gain now, that I'm using now to get where I am. And here in San Diego, it is my Filipino friends who, who I work with, and actually recruited me to the company that I'm at right now. So,
wow.
I mean, I wish, you know what? It's there for anybody who wants it. For anybody who wants it, and anybody who doesn't mind doing the work. Because I've asked several people, people, I'm like, why don't you get into nursing? It's not just, I don't want to wipe nobody's ass. I don't want to do this. Well, guess what? It's not just about doing that. And that's what they say, in any profession, unless your father's the CEO, and if he is a good CEO, you're going to start from the bottom in any profession. But as you elevate yourself and want to, and they see that you are about your business, you go places. There's several, I can't even count them. There's many areas in nursing that don't require you touch a patient.
Y'all heard that?
There's many areas that you can get a nursing degree that you never have to touch a patient after you have paid your dues, right? Gone through your clinicals and done your little rotations and whatnot. You got to get some experience to go somewhere. I touch patients to this day because I like to. I know patients in every building that I manage, that when I go to that building, there are certain patients that live there that I make sure I go holler at. And I wear a uniform to work. I don't have to, but I'm part of my team. I have 35 infection prevention nurses and 35 directors of staff developments that I work with. So when I step in their bill, I'm there to work. And guess what? I expect them to be there to work too. So, I always tell people, I'm never going to ask you to do something I won't do. Come on, let's go.
There you go. Right? There you go. So, there you go.
That's just how I look at it. I really wish that, and I see, like I said, I'm an LVN. I'm encouraging my sisters and brothers to go to school, obtain an RN, get a master's, be a nurse practitioner, a nurse anesthetist. There's just so many things that we can do. And I see online where all the nurses is graduating, and I'm so proud, of that. And I want to tell male nurses, get out there. There's so many. I work with male nurses. The guy who actually, one of them now, one is a Filipino lady. I got to shout her out, Marianne. She live up in Sacramento. We work together at a company called Plum, which happened to get sold, right? But they left to this company I work for now about 6 months before me. Well, they got there, and they had a person in there. She had a BSN, an MSN, and this and that. Well, they decided, guess what? They told their boss, they was like, you got to meet Skipper.
You got to be Skip. You got to be Skip. And when you meet Skip, it's going to blow your mind.
Just meet her. And this is who we want to work with. And to this day, I have to say, and I call him, he's Filipino. When Filipino, they give respect to their elders, they call him a kuya when it's a male. And he's my one and only kuya. And, my whole team takes care of me. So, that's just how I feel, right?
That's what's up. And that's a beautiful thing, because like what you mentioned is like really, really real. And we got people in the comments on the live, like got a sister of mine, like back in Chicago. She says she works on a neuroscience unit in Chicago. And she loves it. It's heavy work. She get out, but she loves it, So that's a beautiful thing, because like when you think about it, right? Like you said, like when you come to work, this is what everybody got to realize. If you go to work, it's work involved. Ain't nobody giving you a check and you ain't doing nothing. You got to get in there. You got to do your part. And you got to recognize that people watching, even when you don't think they are. So like unexpected blessings and unexpected things, you know what I'm saying, comes from doing your part.
Bye, Sean.
Bye, Sean. What's up, nephew? So when you do your part, people recognize, they see you, they understand, they know. Okay, I'd rather take a chance on you because your spirit is good, your work ethic is great, and you do things that the person with the masters or whatever, they ain't gonna do. So you got to realize that you just mentioned there's so many things that you can do in nursing that you don't even have to touch a patient, but listening to what you say, and I seen people chime in. I see nurses all over over the internet and everything like that. The pandemic hits, boom. Your passion is going there, being around people, touching them, loving on them, encouraging them. Now you can't do that. We had Orange Chicken in office at the time, and he made a statement that the pandemic was a hoax. COVID was a hoax. What do you say to that comment right now? Because you were in it. Again, you were in the trenches. So many nurses were in the trenches when it came to COVID-19. What do you say to that comment that it was a hoax? Let the people know how you feel and what you saw, and what's your thoughts on that? Go ahead.
Kev, I'm glad that you brought that up because of what I do. You know, my first love, I tell people all the time, I'm an infection preventionist, but my side, being a staff developer is my side hustle, right? But it's the same job. But I truly love infection prevention. And, you know, wonderful Caucasian doctor, Dr. Rebecca Eli, professor of geriatrics at Johns Hopkins, was my medical director when I was in DC, and she just encouraged me to go learn so much about it. So I got trained at the Beacon Institute in Annapolis, Maryland. I did the basic, the advanced course. So I have been doing this since 2007 was when I
you
first
ain't new to this. You true to this. You is true to this. That's what I'm talking
but
about.
You know what?
Ain't new to this. Y'all better pick it up.
But when I came to California, it really wasn't that big. So I went into an area of nursing called MDS. I was an MDS assistant, just living life. It was good. It was nice. It was paper. It was walking around, talking to the people and doing paper. It was awesome. Until I met a woman who was my administrator, Ms. Clark. She went on to awesome woman to be president of a company called Premier. And got there, she was like, I remember you have infection control on your resume, don't you? I said, yes, I do. Well, she called me in because she needed a little bit of help. So I went over and I helped her. And then she formed a consultant group.
Okay.
And she called me up. She said, quit your job. You come into my consultant group. You know, so that's how I got started in being in the corporate life. But I had been doing in control. So I moved from that company to Plum, the big company. And that's when COVID hit. I was the infection prevention for the South. And that meant I had buildings in Las Vegas and throughout California and throughout the southern end of California. And my Wonder Twin had buildings up north. Well, it blew up. And, you know, I had already been hearing about this since November of 2019.
Gotcha.
And we were start talking about it. And I'll never forget the first one we had in our, it was kind of minor. It didn't happen. But then I had a building, and the building's name, and I'm going to talk about this public knowledge, is called Redwood Springs. It's up in Visalia, California. And that was my biggest, my first and the biggest outbreak that I ever managed for COVID, but the biggest outbreak I ever managed in my life. And it was a true test to my heart and to my knowledge. And I think I saw probably 50 people die, you know.
Wow.
Whew. Yeah. I had the California Command Center there. I mean, it was big. And throughout the whole thing, you know, some fellow nurses stopped coming to work. They said, forget the patient. You know, it's not about the company. Oh, you work for the company. It's just, you know, when you're a nurse, you're going to take care of people. What are the people going to do if you're not there? So that was a big one. I get emotional about that because that was probably the hardest thing I did was to help save some of those people. But through that, I'm going to tell you, through the COVID, when it was really, Kevin, I probably seen a couple hundred people die.
Wow.
And that includes some of my coworkers.
Wow. See, that's the tough part when you got people that spread propaganda in regards to stuff like that. We got hundreds of thousands of people in the US alone that died. We got loved ones that, might have been in facilities or in inpatient or outpatient, whatever the situation is. We can't see them. We got to talk through the glass. We got to wait. We got to get phone calls about how many people caught COVID in their facilities or around them. We got to get phone calls about that, the nurse that was on the unit, or the nurses or the doctors that was on the unit that was taking care of your people. They left. So we're trying to get somebody in here to do this. And then the ones that stayed, they get overworked, they get overwhelmed, but they stayed. So, and going back to what I mentioned about, like, I don't care if you're white, you're black, you're brown, you're Hispanic. You could be shit green with pink polka dots. I don't care. Don't matter to you. I love you for what you do. And we got, like, your sister Latanya Garden. She put a comment in, and she says, I'm a PCT. It was scary. They didn't really know what it was. She was not just a patient, but brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles who was affected by COVID. She said they did a lot of praying and a lot of crying on her unit when it came to COVID. So, like, now, not only hearing from you see people chiming in. So this is what I want. I wanted nurses that's like watching this. I got nurse friends. I got LPN, RN. My aunt was an RN in Northwestern Hospital for years. She ran the floor. She ran the unit. And to hear people say things like, it ain't real, it's a hoax, when you see people dying. And then Donald Trump himself gets COVID. You know what I mean? But rich people, millionaires, billionaires, not all of them, but some of them. My issue, and this is just me, and I think I got my right to have an opinion. I want to hear yours after I ask you this question. I don't think they view healthcare the same way I would as a middle class or a poor person, because they don't go through the same struggles that I get to have healthcare or have insurance. They get private parts of the wings in the hospitals and things like that. But no matter if you're rich or poor, no matter if you're rich or poor.
Yeah, there are special wings in hospitals for VIPs. That's just. But guess what? I don't use that terminology. When I go into a building, they say, "Oh, room 3 is a VIP." I say, "So is room 2 and room 1 and room 12." What is special about them that is not special about this person? Oh, that's so and so. I say, guess what? I treat everybody with the same dignity and respect. I give them the same 110%. I don't do VIP, but unfortunately, that can happen where people say, "Oh, this person is this is the owner's so and so." Okay, I'm gonna treat her just like I treat the person we got from the homeless shelter.
Wow!
Because I give good care. It don't matter who it is, as long as you give good care. Everybody's a VIP, and that's how it should be. But you know what? That's why I love Obamacare. It's giving everybody opportunities to get insurance, so hospitals can get paid. Because guess what? Guess what I don't do? Work for free.
You better say that, because your work is so valuable. You know what I mean? So people don't realize. So you shouldn't. Nurses, teachers, people like that, like we know who our essential workers are now. We know we know the title, we know what they do, we know what you do. So you deserve to be paid. I think every teacher should have a base salary of $100,000. That's just me, because without a teacher, how can you learn something? How can you learn how to be a nurse if someone didn't teach you? How can you learn how to be a teacher if someone didn't teach you? How can you learn to be anything unless someone teaches you?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So we try and Pete, you know what? And I just, people like, I feel blessed in my job. And guess what? I'm me just like this every day. Anywhere I've gone, I'm an emotional, passionate person. I can get loud at times. I can do, there's nothing that I change when I'm sitting with my current CEO or I'm talking to my previous CEO. The same thing. And my coworkers and everything. And you can be you and go on and do whatever it is you need to do. When people, "Oh, you're the corporate this or corporate that." Yeah, I got some other things in the pot, but I have not had any of those discriminatory or derogatory limitations put on anything that I could do. And I feel that if you are serious about your business, you could do anything you want to do and be there. Don't talk about it.
Be about it. Be about
Let give everybody opportunities to go see a bunch of other type people, for their medical care. If you don't do it, who is? Right? And then you go in and complain because you don't see this or you don't see that. Well, be the person then. Encourage someone else, to go into that industry. Because if we don't, and you say, like you say, people who have insurance, well, you might get the better room as opposed to the homeless person hasn't signed up for any insurance because my insurance is going to pay for the better room. I'm going to pay my copay. Now, insurance don't mean for you a scot-free, right? We all know that, right? But,
exactly.
Those gauze, those cups, those toothbrush, none of that is free. A hospital has to make money to run, and they have to make money to pay their people. And whatever it is in your business, you want to get paid. So everybody got to get insurance. Insurance is, something, but I'm gonna tell you something. Obamacare, California Cover Care. Thank you, Gavin.
Gavin.
We're gonna talk about Gavin in a minute, but it works.
Talk about Gavin.
And it's there for people to take advantage because you need to do your routine checkups. Preventative care is I can't speak enough about it. I go to the dentist every 3 months. I'm going to get my physicals, my blood work, and I try to instill that in the kid. I've already had my colonoscopy. I am proud to say I'm 53. I get your breast checked. You got to do all kind of stuff as females, even men. Men get breast cancer too. So, we got to be more about taking care of ourselves. And what kills me, and sorry, you got me talking now, Kevin.
Come on now. That's what we're here to do. It's about you, baby. Let's go.
We're going to talk about this COVID thing and the orange man in office, and just how it went, People let my staff's kids go to daycare because they knew they worked in the nursing facility. We couldn't get hotel rooms. We could until Gavin took over the hotel system and put every healthcare worker in hotels for free throughout the entire pandemic. I got people who lived in hotels for 6 months so they wouldn't go home and affect their families for free from the state of California. What killed me is we're in pain and we'll take a Tylenol. Kevin, what is in Tylenol?
They don't know because I don't know. And that's the thing.
People are diabetics. People are diabetics, right? Some can take a pill. Some have to do injections and pills and shots, right? Some people have to take an injection 3-4 times a day. What's in insulin? Where does it come from? It's made from an animal, most of it.
Right.
Beef,
that's what we do, though.
That's and people will gladly take. What is in fentanyl? Nobody knows, but people are taking that stuff left and right. Same people who are against COVID-19 vaccines, by the way. So I just use that similarity that it was just demonized so bad by the government at that time, our president at that time, that it really, really affected the outcome of this pandemic. And, 1.1 million people across this United States lost their lives. I want you guys to know people are still dying from COVID. COVID is not, it is just so greatly decreased that it has come to, I want to say, even out, as opposed to now it's like in with number of people who will die from a car accident in a day, or you know what I mean? Because you don't even think about that. How many people die in a car accident every day across the United States that has like 325 million people? Probably 1,000 or so. We just don't think of things in those statistical, measures. Yeah, I know it's there, sis. I got there's buildings and outbreaks now, and it is what it is. But guess what we learned how to do? We learned how to manage it better. We learned how to protect ourselves better. We learned how to treat, and we learned preventative, with the great minds of these scientists who not invented the COVID-19 vaccine, amongst other vaccines, but how about HIV? We now got a PrEP pill that people can take to help prevent HIV is a virus. That's when I first started working at Howard University Hospital in the era, 1996, of the beginning of HIV AIDS, when people still didn't know much about that. And that was very scary. But guess who's getting, the most newly diagnosed population with that is? Heterosexual women, African American at that. So come on, people. But people are taking PrEP. PrEP is a pill that you can take to help prevent, and it's for, the gay society or whatnot, whomever needs it. But what's in that? They don't know, but they'll take it. So come on. That's what just got me so
you fired up. I mean, I like that. I love that. That's what we here for.
Fired up about that. And how that man really demonized all the great work that people do day in and day out, not to just develop stuff for COVID and HIV and stuff. They're in there trying to develop stuff for cancer. And I bet you if they come out something with people who have cancer, oh, this is brand new, never heard of it, want to take it? Oh, they'll take it without doubt. Even that man lied to you guys. He went to that hospital and took every treatment that they could, and he's vaccinated. So that's what gets me pissed.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We're getting in it. Man, we don't certify winners with a real winner, letting y'all know what winners do, man, out there in the trenches, what's going on. And that's what we do, right? It's like the Cedric the Entertainer had a joke on one of his stand-ups. He say, like, how black people will see somebody run, they don't even know what they're running from. They just gonna start running too. We gotta stop. Yeah. I'm going, shit. What they running? I'm running too. Like, no. Yeah, what the fuck? And that's what it be. We are so quick to listen to the propaganda, or don't like we don't know, like when we was getting vaccinated when we was kids, we had to get school shots. We didn't know what was in that shit. We, like, our parents just took us because they trusted it's gonna make sure my baby get to school. We didn't know, like I said, we don't know what's in Tylenol, we don't know what's in aspirin. We only know that, like, the bare minimum we can read on the on the box or the package. But people lie all the time. You know what they say in Paid in Full? People die every day, B. We can't stop doing what we're doing because you got shot out here. People get shot every day, B. But at the end of the day, we got to stop. That's my next question. In our community, we're so trusting of what people will say instead of finding out for ourselves. It take a few moments to go find some information because the information is free. It's out there. We won't go get it. And we put ourselves in a hole, put our families in bad situations. I read stories of whole families dying of COVID because they say, I'm not getting a jab. I'm not going, nobody in here gonna do that. So then what happens is you send your child out infected, they infect the rest of the school. Now we got a pandemic that's opened up in the school when we didn't have a lot of cases like that. It's just a domino effect of bad choices that we make in our decisions. We'll listen to anything about food, eating the wrong things. Like, we need to educate ourselves on overall well-being, our health and well-being as people. So when we don't do that, we get these instances and situations that we have where COVID ran rampant in Black and brown communities because we were uneducated. We didn't want to find out, and we listened to somebody, a celebrity or somebody that's living in a mansion, gonna tell me about how to take care of myself when you ain't even in touch with reality like I am. Because again, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, any of them, the rest of them, like, applaud the people that did put the work in. Applaud the people who did make the sacrifices and everything to be in those hospitals and take care of people. Applaud the people that, like, took time out, the Gavin Newsoms of the world, that took time out to make sure that you, the healthcare workers, can have a place to be so that you don't infect your families. You know what I mean? So this is things that we don't see on the news every day. This is things that they don't get played every day for us to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll put everything out there other than like the truth. And that's what really pisses me off. Because like you say, like, if you're using your critical thinking, y'all put y'all critical thinking caps on, damn well Donald Trump ain't went in that hospital with COVID. He's an elderly, almost 80-year-old man. People, they're the leading ones that's dying. He eating burgers and stuff every day. He's not healthy. So why would we believe that he didn't go in there and get a vaccine? Why would we believe that? I just came out and I beat. Oh, and Aaron Rodgers with the vermectin. What is that? Can you tell us?
Ivermectin. And let me tell you, ivermectin is used. They say it's used in horses, but it's an anti-parasitic. And in the healthcare, we use ivermectin, and it's mostly used on our patients who have a little parasite called the scabies mite. You heard of scabies?
Yeah. It got the
scabies. Yeah. So people will take ivermectin in conjunction with the topical treatment to get rid of scabies. That's where I was used to, people we did not, none of the practitioners prescribed ivermectin for COVID-19. But in the beginning, guess what? They were just trying to do things. But as they learned better, they did better, right? As we learn better, we do better. And I just want to say, and I heard when you said, that a lot of in our community, and I'm not up here like saying, oh, you need to get vaccinated. Honestly,
no,
I only, tell you what I'm gonna do. When my son went to Africa, he got every vaccine, the yellow fever, the malaria that he took. I made him take the malaria pills and everything, because that's just how I feel, right?
Right.
I have confidence in vaccines, but I know others don't. But the thing that got me is people didn't even want to wear a mask to protect others. It's like, do not ask me to be inconvenienced at all, right? And they're just the selfishness of it all.
Very true.
Like, I can do it for the net. Okay, granted, I don't believe in it. But if you say it might help someone else, what is it for you to put on something? Make sure your breath don't stink. You'll be okay. It's just, so it's just those things. And even now, people, because you can have COVID and you can be asymptomatic. Well, I had it and nothing happened to me, but you're not like the next person. That is what is so awesome about the human body. It is so unique.
True.
That everybody is different. We're all affected differently by different things, right? And I might not have the same reaction, even to medication. Some people are allergic to medication I could take.
Yep, that's true.
Why is that?
That's true.
Who knows?
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
It's just all medicine is trial and error. Everybody needs to realize that. Medicine is trial and error. People did something about something and found out that it worked. So every time that certain set of circumstances came about, they did the same thing. And they said, oh, well, every time he gets a cough, if I spray Toussaint on him, the cough stops. So
put some Toussaint on him. Yeah, that's how it goes.
On him, right?
Spray some Toussaint on it.
Or, that's just you. And so they use it. And then, what if I add a little Windex to the Toussaint? Whatever it is, they did it and they found out it works. That's all medicine is, trial and error. That's why they do studies in labs on animals. And oh, don't do it on the animal. Well, who you want them to do it on? Are you gonna volunteer?
They be more in love with an animal than, I mean, I'm all for animals and everything, but they be more in love with animals than they do with human beings, especially ones that, because you know, like, you're a nurse, you're a Black woman in this field. We have Black people. Like, we got to realize, you know, like, our people were subjects of studies back in the day. We were put out on display. We were poked and prodded and cut and done things because they believed that what was in us was so great, we got to find a way to get it. And they wanted to find a way to put it inside themselves. They thought they would live forever. They would have the bodies. They would have, you know, like all these things that like come within us, you know, the melanin, like your melanin is like worth millions of dollars that's in you right now. But people don't realize that, you know what I mean? The skin that you in, we don't get sunburn. Some of us might do, but we don't get cancerous sun skin, like stuff like that.
No,
cancerous
you can still get, just not as often.
Educate me.
But you can get, anybody can get skin cancer. You know, you have more protection with the melanin you have. Yes, your chances are likely, but let's not say that we can't get it, right?
Okay.
So we're less likely with our melanin, but we still could. So I'm still telling everybody, wear your sunscreen.
Wear your sunscreen, okay. And my wife a red bone, so I got to make sure she got that sunscreen.
Oh yeah. Because I get burnt, Kev. I burn in the sun. Yeah. So I wear sunscreen, you know. But you are correct when you said that we have had a traumatic past. The whole our whole experience of getting here and being here has been, you know, a struggle, right? But I can't live with just in that every day. You know, I don't, and people, it's just my experience. All my family, you see, you met our family. So you know, we look like every color of the rainbow. And you know, like the people who raised me, Caucasian, you know, my mama's Black, but you know, my cousins is Mexican and Black, and then Brad, you know, I mean, I just so it's I a lot of time I'm just so I'm in California. Not to say there's not, you know, racism here, but it's just, you know, how we live out here. We just kind of chill.
Y'all and just chilling, free flowing.
So I don't have I had experiences being called the N-word and this and that? Oh, most definitely. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah,
I have.
We all have problems,
even by residents. You know, the people who you take care of.
Yeah,
like they, you know, they'll tell you, wipe my ass, N-word.
That's why y'all special. That's why y'all special. Doing
see, me, I don't take that. I'm just above it. I don't get upset over that kind of thing anymore because guess what? That's your ignorance. I'm not going to let that ruin my day. Exactly. Flip on over and let me get the job done so I can move on to the next thing. Is there anything else you need? I don't give people the satisfaction of letting that get on my nerves, right?
And I'm going to make sure I wipe your ass good.
Yeah. Oh, we said they can't say it. I got just, you know, at this stage of the game, now maybe, you know, I ain't gonna lie. I grew up here in San Diego. I grew up in Spring Valley, El Cajon, and in elementary school, I had a few different little scuffles in regard to them little kids calling me out my name. That's no joke. And it was said, don't go to this part of town because this is where the white folks are. No, okay, I did have all that, right? But I haven't let it define me or stop me from thinking that I can. The man has never stopped me. That's what I'm going to say.
The man.
When people say, oh, the man, yes. Did I have to work a little bit harder? Probably so.
Yeah.
I probably, and you know, I for a while there, I kept one foot in some shit.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to. But the main thing is, you said you never gave up. You didn't let that affect you. If I got to work twice as hard, I'm going to work twice as hard because guess what? I'm going to get recognized twice as much. So I'm not even tripping because I already know out the gate, if we had the same, you see the videos, you hear Dr. Jane Elliott, like I think she's an ally. Love her. So what they know what's going on, but and that's what makes it all the more sweeter for me. You know what I mean? So when you go excel and exceed your own expectations, because I'm my biggest critic. When I exceed my own expectations, I already know I blew past yours because you couldn't beat me on a good day. And if the playing field was level, we smoked the hell out of y'all and a lot of other people right off the bat. But moving forward, we gonna move forward, and it's just getting so good. And how you be, you got me fired up. But look,
oh dang, yeah, we on our time, yeah. But I do want to say my last thing in regard to that, Kev. My last thing in regard to that, Kev, is I have it just my experience. I'm not talking about anybody else. In my experiences, I have been blessed to meet and work with so many people who have seen me for, my knowledge, my critical thinking skills, my hardworking, and I've been able to, work where I am today. And I, a lot of time, I am the only one who looked like me in the room.
Hey, I'm going through that now. I just got a great promotion in my job, moved up the ladder fast. I'm the poster child of cross training, and I've been excelling, and it's kind of blowing their mind, but it never blew my mind because I knew I was capable because I know what God put in me. And honestly, like when it comes to that, I don't have a problem with anybody. I can get along with everybody because I go in there and I act as a man, and I'm proud of who I am, and like I stand on that point blank, period. But we got what do you prefer, traditional healthcare versus like the holistic healthcare scene that's going on right now? What's your thing with that? You prefer the traditional form of healthcare, or do you like holistic healthcare, or is it a combination of things?
It's definitely a combination of that. We got to take care of ourselves, people. You got to take care of yourself. And that is with, I'm down with the herbs and the shakes and the fruit and, everything, take your, if you can't eat it, take your healthy multivitamin, I'm down with all of that. But traditional medicine is important. You need your preventive checkups. When things are found in early stages, the outcomes are better.
Absolutely.
So if we take care of ourselves holistically, then maybe we'll only need minimal of the traditional medicine that is offered. So they work together.
Thank you for that. Shout out to my man, Michael Azure. He on the line right now. But like, this is what we got to do. We got to take care of us better, got to make better choices as far as our healthcare goes in the African-American community. If you don't know, you need to find out some things. And that's why we're going to shift gears, right? So, I want to talk a little bit about politics. I don't really get too much into it, but when I talk about it, I'm passionate about it.
You and me both. That's a whole nother show.
So I know, right? But we gonna try to put a little bit in it because I know you passionate about it. I am, and I know like whoever's watching or listening or gonna be privy to this show. I want you to know how we feel, what you feel, and how did you even get into like loving politics the way that you do? Give me some background info on you in politics.
Well, I ironically, I got into it. Of course, I met Bill Clinton at the Black family reunion on the National in Washington, D.C. And
that's where he started smoking weed there, wasn't it?
And it wasn't like he was just all, Secret Service stuff. Literally, he had a plate of food and he was on the mall eating greens and everything. And that's when I first said, dang, he's real. Now, I don't know about, okay, I'm just talking about my picture, right? And then, of course, I was in D.C. when I voted for Obama twice in Washington, D.C.
2 times.
I was there. So, and it was a thing, so, and my African co-workers at the time, we were just so into watching everything political while we were at work. And my Nigerian co-workers, they really got, that's when I realized how blessed we were to have a straight up political system that they didn't have with. Now, I'm not going to say everybody ain't corrupt, but that they didn't have where they were. And they gave me their enthusiasm, got me enthusiastic.
Yay. I know that's right. Because like we got to think about politics, right? I learned from a very wise person. I'm from one of the most corrupt cities in the world, Chicago, Illinois. Politics is terrible. Everything is turned political nowadays. And we can't help but understand that race is also tied to politics. But when you look at present and former, politicians and everything like that, us in the Black community, we've been lied to so much that we believe that the only important election is the presidential election. Can you elaborate on that and give me your thoughts on that, about that lie that we've been told?
All right, Kev. Yes. We had a little discussion about this, and this is something that I am and it's kind of weird to me because I don't want people to think that I'm like crazy or anything, even though I am a little bit crazy.
We're a little off, but it's okay.
So I do watch a lot of news, TV, and I look at other sides. I don't just watch what I want to hear. I like to look at everything because I'm an analytical person. I like to think. And
same here.
The one thing that I always heard is all the grassroots. Well, we were asking ourselves, how did it get to be this bad? How did all the animosity, all the hate for the blacks, the hate for the Asians, the hate for the Jews? Yep. Well, guess what? It's always been there, but it has been socially unacceptable. They quietly, people with this opinion of conservatism and other opinions, quietly from the ground up. You heard when they say grassroots movements?
That's right.
From the ground up. They went slowly to little neighborhoods and they start saying, hey, why don't you run for city council? Hey, why don't you run for, mayor? Hey, you run for school board. So we're quietly putting people who have our same mindset, same thought, and same, unfortunate thoughts into these little places of power. And so, while yes, the president is important, but the president can't do very much on his own, which we're all finding out. It takes a Congress and a Senate. And then it also from there, we have governors and states, and we have city councilmen, and we have mayors, and we have assemblymen, and we have all these things that work. And so as we were talking, I'm saying, like, my thing is, I want to ask people, do they really know about their local politicians? Yeah, do you know you vote in a certain number of judges every year?
And wonder why all your homies in jail.
Ruling. You're mad, but tell me what judge did you vote for last time, and who's coming up for re-election?
See, we need to get the collection plate around. Hold on, I got my hat. We need to get an offering for Sister Toussaint over here, because she over here preaching. She's doing her thing right now. We need to get your cash app so they can start sending some money, because we don't understand it's called a trickle down effect, right? What trickles down from federal government comes down to your local government, but your local government plays such a big part for you and the communities that you live in. So if you're not going to city council meetings, if you're not going to police board meetings, if you're not going to the meetings at your kid's school, the local school council meetings, if you're not going to all these things and find out who's doing what, where they sending money, or where they misappropriating money, if your voice is not heard, what you got there?
This is a state and local resource brochure that was sent to me by my assembly member, Chris Ward of the 78th District, and is giving me a phone number to call all the places that I might need if I got a pothole or something like this, right? Because everybody should know this stuff. And if your street ain't being fixed, you need to call and say, Chris, why isn't my street being fixed?
Better say that. And it don't matter what.
I pay taxes around here.
Sure do.
And I want stuff done. So it's like you don't need to only think of voting down to the president. Oh, Joe Biden didn't do this. Joe Biden didn't do that. If Joe Biden can sign a bill and erase all the kind, a bill and erase all kind of stuff, he would do that. Hopefully, that's his intention. At least that's what he says. But how the government structure works, they stop teaching us all that kind of school because they want us to be complacent. They want us to not think about those other things because we're not voting for them. And I'm not just talking about Black people.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about my Mexican, Hispanic people. I'm talking about my Pan American, my Asian people, all those people where we're doing something else besides being concerned about what is going on locally. Do you know a lot of county sheriffs are voted in, but only the people who go vote get to vote their sheriff in, and then you're mad how the sheriff acts.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Take the time to register to vote and then go vote.
And then go vote. And that's another thing I want to talk to you about, right? We got like, celebrities and stuff. They'll say like, the old adage, it's like voting for the lesser of two evils. But at the end of the day, it's like your vote is precious. Why listen to somebody tell you not to vote when that's the only voice you got to make change in your community for people that look like you? So when I say your vote is precious, you got to make sure you go like research these people that are running for your local offices, because those are the ones that affect you the most. So like she said, Skip just said, if you got judges that are being voted in and you're not making your voice heard when it comes to those judges, how can you have a complaint or anything? Man, free the guys or free him or free her. But you're not even going to go vote. These people are staying in office that got high arrest records. You're not putting in, county sheriffs or state's attorneys that look like you or got your best interest. Like my belief, and this is just me, I believe that like if I'm going to vote for somebody, you got to have the same kind of interests or beliefs. And if it ain't all the way like intertwined with mine, you got to be along the same wavelength. We got to be vibing on the same. I don't care if you black, white, brown. It don't matter. If you vibe in the same way I'm vibing. I don't need you to I don't need you to put another median with flowers in the middle of the street. I need you to fix the street itself. I need you to get some of them abandoned buildings fixed up and pay and get some homeless people off the streets. I need to know where like this money is going. It comes from the when the school system doesn't take all the money, like where's the over like the leftover monies go? Why do my kids gotta have raggedy books and stuff like that? Why do we have 200 some odd schools closing in the black communities in Chicago when we're getting so much money from the government? Like these are things and questions that you got to ask and stuff that you got to know on your local level.
And that's correct. I'm gonna save it all my big stuff for another time, Kev. But if I could just show people, the different, and I told you I've lived in many places, right? And if I show you even the stadium, and I call them stadiums that our high school players play in. And then you look at the little raggedy field that, other high school students have to play in other states. These kids here get free lunch. Everybody go to school, their kids getting lunch.
Yep.
You don't have to pay. It don't matter your pay range or whatever. In this district here, I didn't pay for school for my 6'2", 200 athletic son. And if it's hot dog day, they get 2 hot dogs, not like 1 hot dogs, and healthy food. So I mean, I live in a state where they just opened a full parking lot with pods, and this is in my city, with safe sleeping for the homeless families.
Wow.
I mean, I can show you, you can't go by a bus or a bus stop without Black infant health resources on the side of the bus and at your bus stop for Black women's health and things like that are here in San Diego.
Right.
And there in LA. And there when I go to Oakland and San Francisco. So it's not just here in San Diego, it's across. So it's like, what are the people doing for you? Who are the people? And how are you holding them accountable? We got voice to get out there and use it and start in our local level. And I just challenge everybody, if anybody is on the line, to name who your local city council or assembly person is, how many judges are voted into your criminal justice system, who's your state's attorney, that kind of stuff. I think we all need to what they say, wake up and look at that kind, because we are the grass, we are grassroots, so we got to start right here.
Yep. And even if you don't want to have that position per se, it's so many people that I know you believe in. If you don't, I'm talking like all of us in general, that you believe in and know that they'll make a difference in your communities. So they don't have to be a pastor, they don't have to be a reverend. They can be an everyday person that you see trying to make a difference there. So push them forward. And then we got people like when we look at stuff like that, right? We get so divided, and they use like different people of color to divide us, to split up our vote, to split up how we feel and get us in our feelings. This is one thing that I really think is important. We got to start start getting out of our feelings and start thinking critically about things that go on in our communities, because we get so hyped up and so amped up and we start want to cry and be emotional when we don't want to look at the facts. And so all y'all, we talking about politics and what Joe Biden ain't doing. Did y'all see that Joe Biden just said, forget what the Supreme Court said, I'm still finna take care, you know what I'm saying? I'm still finna get y'all get that done with their student loan forgiveness.
There you go, as I possibly can. Yeah, and it's still like, you know, nothing will be perfect.
Yeah, it's we gotta start understanding that it's processes to life. It's processes to politics. It's processes to healthcare. It's processes to everything. So you just can't think that somebody can get somewhere and do something. It's processes to being a better version of yourself. So think about your past and what you went through and what you got to say. Come on, chime in. Get in here on me.
I was just gonna say, you know, we do have responsibilities as being citizens.
Yes,
and so you just ask yourself, what kind of citizen are you? Oh, I'm not for the man, and this, you know, that. If I hear that without any action one more time, because I'm here, I'm living proof that nobody can hold you back from anything that you want to do. The reason I don't have a degree because of me. I got somebody, literally someone who paid. I'm ready to apply for a next level of learning, and I still didn't pay for any of those classes. Thanks, and Clark, who paid for all my stuff, you know. So
wow.
You can be whatever it is you want to be, but mainly you live in the United States. You live in the state you live in. You live in the city you live in, and in the county you live in. You have a responsibility to be a good citizen.
Absolutely.
And being a good citizen is treating your other fellow citizens with respect. But it also means participating in the political system as a citizen. And if you don't think so, then in my opinion, and it's just my little opinion,
that's all.
You don't get to complain about the things that are going or are not happening in your area. So ask yourself, are you a responsible citizen?
Yep.
And that's real.
That is real.
The best country in the world. Absolute best country. And if you don't think so, go somewhere else then.
And find out.
I don't care what you look like.
Go travel. You find out.
And I love all the people that come. I think we need more people to come here. I think, you know, that's a whole nother show too. But I am embracing everyone. I'm mad I don't speak another language. I'm mad I don't speak Ibu or Tagalog or Spanish. That's my dumbass fault that I didn't take it. You know, I'm not mad at others because they can speak 2 or 3 languages.
Accountability.
You know? They're what makes our United States the United States. And I just asked everybody on the line, what kind of citizen are you?
Hey, I can dig that, and I can dig that. And I want to give a special shout out to all my people like back in Chicago. They're still fighting a good fight. That's, you know, even it's political and the activism that they do, because like these are people that show me that it's not about them. And when I was out there doing it, I really saw the light in them, and I saw that it was a bigger thing, bigger cause that they were fighting for than them. William Calloway, all these police videos and stuff. A lot of people did work, but William was the linchpin to getting the Laquan McDonald video released and doing all the work that he did. Demetrius Nash, D. Nash, walked from Chicago to the White House to oppose the gun violence in our city. And you didn't get a lot of like fanfare about it, but when he did, he recorded it. He got some good things going on. Inglewood Barbie, she's got a doctorate now. Will go out there under the viaducts after she go do what she do in her heels or sweats, whatever, sleeping outside, feeding the people, being out in the cold, showing them that no matter what I got, what I do, I was you, I am you, and I love you because of you. Camilla Williams, for standing in the gap, working with Father Flager. There's so many of them like that's running for office and they haven't won, but they still do the work. You know what I'm saying? So like, I applaud you all. I love you. I know it's more. So don't charge it to my head. Don't charge it to my heart. Charge it to my head. But politics, if you can change anything about politics and healthcare, what would those things be and why? Oh, it's stirring now. I see it right there. It's coming. Come on.
Okay,
guys.
well, you know, as far as healthcare goes, you know, I don't know what I would change about healthcare. I mean, one thing that might not be popular with, even my own bosses, if they happen to see this,
Right.
is I honestly do think, you guys, there's a shortage in healthcare workers, and that's just the bottom line.
Okay.
And for I don't know if there's a shortage in direct patient care staff, the staff that directly take care of your loved one. And there is not a shortage of patients.
Y'all heard it. Y'all need to get out there.
So if I wish one thing, I wish that the general public would be more involved in their loved ones' healthcare needs, recoveries. And I do wish that more people would go into healthcare, because if people don't go into healthcare, y'all just don't know.
It's gonna get
who's gonna be there to take care of you.
It's gonna get ugly.
You're just as you demand, good care, and what you should. These are human beings we take care of. These are people with lives. Absolutely. Right? They deserve good care. But guess what? We're not robots.
That's true.
Beings. And we have limits also. Wow. Now, as far as politics, I just want I don't know what I would want to change. I would want to change. The main thing is I would want to, I'm over Supreme Court, Supreme Court. I'm over them. I'm over Clarence Thomas's constipated looking ass. I'm just.
I swear.
It's like you see. I'll be like, will somebody please give him an enema? He looked constipated.
Let that man take a shit, man, for real. Damn. Like, he's tripping. And it's so bad that, and this is part of the problem. We allow former presidents, because we don't understand that the tactics that they use. Even if I ain't there, my work will still get done. My agenda still get passed, because I'm going to put people in there.
It's not even his agenda. You guys don't. Donald Trump.
That's agenda from the good old boys. That's way down the line.
Yeah, they used and abused his dumb ass. He thinks he's smart, and the Americans. You know what he said? And that people. He said, "Oh, I love my uneducated people."
Sure did.
You got to listen to the stuff he said. He said it right out there, because he knows their dumbasses will vote for him. It is somebody else's agenda that's being pushed. And it's at a higher level than many of us know, but that is not Donald Trump's conservative agenda. He is not conservative. He held the Bible upside down on the TV.
Damn. Exactly.
When they asked him what his favorite quote is, he said all of them.
All of them. This is your king. This is your king. I don't even eat orange chicken no more because his ass. He got me all jacked up. And this is why, though, like what we say about voting, about understanding how precious your vote is and why you got to do the right things with your vote. I got two more questions before we get out of here. One of them is a situation going on right now with a young doctor, Carlethia Russell, traveling. She's been abducted, and that happens a lot. You being a healthcare professional that travels a lot, what are some advice and some, suggestions you can give to the young women and young men out there that's traveling and doing their thing, how to keep themselves safe and, and how to be on the lookout? Hey, I got to ask you.
No, I saw that. Mm-hmm. She stopped to help some kid, the setup. Okay, you all have been hearing about us being missing. You've been hearing about this. You know what? Organ theft is real. They got to get healthy people to steal your organs and sell them to other countries to input in people. I mean, all that stuff is real, even though you don't hear much about it. My heart goes out for that woman and her family. And I'm telling you all something. If it's me, the little kid gonna get hit in the street because I'm not stopping. When ISIS
on the real.
Oh, I travel to little towns that I say, and not just the company I work for now, but the company I worked for before. I really went to some, more rural towns and stuff. Mm-hmm. And after I do my thing at the building, get me something to eat, get in my room, I don't come out until the very next daylight morning, because the stuff that I see when I'm out, the zombies, I call them the zombies. I don't know what the heck be going on. I'm not with it. I stay. I literally that. Oh, you get to travel for work. I travel. Yeah, I travel. It's work. I go from my destination and then I go back to my room, unless of course I was in my Las Vegas buildings. That's a little different story. But in some places, and they're rural, so there's flags everywhere.
He's made it viable, and for the racists to come out again. He's made it viable. Trump has, for those undercover bigots to come out again, or those hate mongers who kept that suppressed. They feel like I got a leader that makes me feel like I can go out and say and do what I want. So like back in the day, they called them sundown towns. So I'm assuming you going like in the small sundown towns and rural areas.
I don't know if every one of them, I treat them like a sundown town.
You better. When I drove that truck, that's how I did.
Not just sundown, not those reasons, but for like the reasons of this young lady who's missing on the side of the road.
Yep.
I'm cute. I don't need the killer to be kidnapping me.
Yes.
I gotta stay away from the killer. No, so yes, I go and even like if I'm with a coworker or something or a group, we'll go eat and then we go back to our rooms.
Right.
There's none of that.
It's about staying safe.
Yeah, they told you can't. You gotta be aware of your surroundings wherever you go these days.
No matter
we
what.
are missing at an alarming rate and not hearing enough about it. And we got good organs and good strong stuff or whatever. The sex slaves, I don't know what it is, but African American women are coming up missing.
Yep.
Not just African American women, all kind of women are coming up missing. And it's not being talked about enough. And my heart goes out to this family of this physician.
Yes.
And I wish the best, but it don't sound good. That's all I can say. That was a straight setup.
Yeah. The family of Carly Russell.
It didn't have to be her, Kev. It could have been anybody that pulled to help that kid. Anybody.
Yep. She just happened to be the one that pulled over to help.
Yeah,
and
so they wasn't gonna let that kid get hit. Won't be stopping. I'm letting y'all know now. Your girl.
That's it.
I'm going.
Yep. Yeah. I might call after I get to my destination because I don't trust
I'll call on the phone. I'm not stopping, but there is a kid on the highway if y'all want to come check it out.
Yep. Because it's like we got to protect ourselves, and I'm glad you mentioned that and said that it's real because, like, they're not like people coming up missing, but like the majority of like Black women that are coming up missing and taken is like it's alarming and it's wrong, and we got to protect ourselves. Last question I got for you: give me 3 winners from your life that influenced you to be the certified winner that you are today. Come on now, you can do it.
I don't want to leave anybody out, and so like that's a big question for my life, right? Because I've been fortunate enough to travel around a lot and meet a lot of people and been influenced by all those people. So do you want my nursing or do you want my life?
I just want your life. It don't even have to be 3. It could be 1. And it's like no disrespect to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like when I ask this question, it can be who you think, like who is it that like gave you the most influence to help you get to the point you are right now as far as your life. Because like your life entails the nursing, your life entails the traveling, it entails being a mother, a daughter, everything.
Okay. So of course I got to give props to my mama. I can't not give props to my own mama, right? But she's not the main one. My mom instilled, I'm a hustler, baby.
Yeah.
My mama, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the person who instilled in me a lot of life lessons. Her name is Patricia Covington, and she just happens to be my son's grandmother. Now, I never married her son, but I call her, that's my second mom. That's one, and she know all my family, and we are all her California family. As a matter of fact, she turned 81 yesterday.
Happy birthday, Grandma Pat.
That's right. She was the first Black woman to hold the position of the Director of Veterans Affairs Liaison. She managed the office. She had an office in the Senate and the House building.
Wow.
So the Rayburn building, and I forget the other one. My son grew up on Capitol Hill. He's been all under in the underground. You guys, they got a whole town under there. There's a train. There's a pole. They make everything themselves. She managed people. When she retired, they flew the flag for her. That's, she worked her way up in government to that position on her own. Very well respected, right? We did my son's science experiments up there in the late night using all their big copy machines and everything, because you were allowed to do that. We weren't breaking any rules. But she has been a great help. She's been a role model because I see her, and she's been a help to me because with school's out, I dropped the kid on Capitol Hill.
You keep it moving.
If my son gets sick, I didn't have to leave work. I call her. She'd leave on Capitol Hill to go get her grandson, in her fancy suits and everything like that. But she showed me, and I mean, I got a lot. I got a lot. But I mean, if I had to pick one, I'm going to have to pick Patricia Jean Covington, who just won yesterday, and she fly as ever.
So you got the best of both worlds. You got, Miss Patricia Jean Covington, the flyness, and you got the hustling from your mama. So you can't beat that with a bat. So look, we just want to, I want to thank you personally for being on the show today. It was a wonderful, wonderful show. I got to give a hand to Skip Saint. You know what I'm saying? Skipper Toussaint. Where's she bringing the award? She brought the award back up. If y'all didn't see earlier, her and the award are matching. Y'all better get y'all together. This is the Certified Winners Podcast. Definitely got a certified winner with me on the line right now. And Skipper Toussaint, I want to thank you again, sister. Many, many blessings to you. Right now, I'm moving forward. It was a wonderful, wonderful interview. I love you. God bless you. We're going to see you again.
Love you too, Kev. Bye.